Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are digging into Apple's latest product launch. We're going to break down what's new, what's actually different, and probably most important, why any of it matters to you. To really get what Apple's doing this year, you got to start right here. This is their whole philosophy, right? That design isn't just about making something look good, it's about how it works. And that one idea, seriously, it's the thread that connects everything we're about to talk about. So we're not just going to run through a boring list of gadgets. We'll start with that design philosophy and then dive into three huge pillars of innovation: hyper-personal intelligence, what they're calling your proactive health guardian, and a total redesign of form and function. And then we'll see how it all comes together in the most pro iPhone ever. Okay, so let's keep that on the front of our minds. Design is how it works. It's really the why behind everything else they announced. So how does that big idea actually show up in a product? Well, that brings us to pillar number one, hyper-personal intelligence. Apple is basically baking this intelligence right into their hardware, and they kicked things off with one of their most popular products out there, the AirPods. The real magic behind the new AirPods Pro 3 is this thing called computational audio. And look, this isn't just about sticking a better speaker in there. No way. This is about using the raw processing power of the chip to intelligently shape what you're hearing in real time. It's pretty wild stuff. And what does that actually get you? Well, the results are dramatic. The new AirPods Pro have double the active noise cancellation of the last generation. And if you compare them to the original Pro model, they are 4 times more effective at just silencing the world around you. That's a huge leap. All that power also unlocks a feature that feels like it's straight out of science fiction: live translation. The whole point is to make talking to someone who speaks a different language feel way more natural. It tunes out the background noise so you can focus, you hear the translation, and your iPhone acts as a screen for the other person. It's a really seamless system. And get this, they're not just for listening anymore. AirPods are now a full-on fitness device. They've got a heart rate sensor built right in, plus this new AI workout buddy that gives you motivation. It tracks your exercise and, yep, it contributes directly to closing your rings on your Apple Watch. Your devices are all really starting to work together as one. Now, this idea of personal awareness goes way beyond just workouts. It gets into our overall well-being. And that brings us to the second pillar, your proactive health guardian. This is all centered on the Apple Watch, and it's about shifting its purpose from just tracking data to actively looking out for you. And they really drove this point home with some incredibly powerful stories from users. I mean, hearing something like this just highlights the life-saving potential of having a tiny monitor on your wrist ready to alert you the moment something might be wrong. This is really where the watch becomes that guardian. The new hypertension alert is a huge step. It's not about spot checks, it's about looking for dangerous patterns over time. And then at night, a new sleep score doesn't just tell you how many hours you were asleep. It analyzes and rates the actual quality of your rest. That's a game changer. And just to give you an idea of the scale here, the problem they're tackling is massive. Hypertension affects about 1.3 billion people around the world, and it's often called a silent killer because there are no obvious symptoms. So a feature like this could give millions of people a crucial early warning. But hey, intelligence and health monitoring are only half the story. In this third pillar, Apple's design philosophy takes on a radical, new physical form. This is where that whole idea of how it works becomes totally inseparable from how it feels. So to set the stage for this new device, Apple didn't start with specs. They started with a simple intention: to make an iPhone that feels like a piece of the future. The whole goal was kind of a paradox, right? To create something incredibly powerful, yet so thin and light, it just seems to disappear in your hands. And that intention now has a name: the iPhone Air. At just 5.6 millimeters, it is the thinnest iPhone ever made. This is the physical result of that entire goal. Okay, so you've got intelligence, you've got health, and you've got this radical new design. How does it all come together in the flagship product? Well, it's all here in the new iPhone 17 lineup, which Apple is calling its biggest leap ever. So if you look at the new lineup, you can see how it all stacks up. The standard 17 finally gets a ProMotion display. The new Air is all about that impossibly thin design, but it's still powered by a Pro chip. And then the 17 Pro is just the absolute powerhouse, focused on the best camera system and the best performance you can get. Now, the Pro models in particular get a massive performance jump. And we're not just talking about peak speed for a second or two, this is about sustained performance. They completely redesigned the thermal system with a new vapor chamber and an aluminum unibody, which lets the chip run faster for way longer without getting hot. For pro apps or high-end gaming, that's absolutely huge. So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, the strategy is pretty clear. Apple is pushing its devices to be more intelligent, more health-aware, and radically redesigned. But honestly, maybe the biggest surprise of the day is that with all these upgrades, the starting price for the iPhone 17 is the same as last year. And they even doubled the storage. And all of this leaves us with one final big question to chew on. We're clearly moving from devices we command to devices that anticipate our needs and monitor our health. So as these unbelievably powerful tools get woven even deeper into our lives, how is our relationship with them going to change next? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.